Hi, welcome to 0xTalks by OKC Podcast. And here we talk about DeFi, GameFi, Metaverse, crypto, and everything else related to them. This is your host, James. Today's conversation is with Robbie Jeo, the co-founder and CEO of Kommunitas. Kommunitas is a decentralized and tierless launchpad. So the first thing that I want to ask today is that you are decentralized tierless launchpad. So what does that mean for other projects, and what does it mean for investors that want to invest in Kommunitas?
Okay, yes. So we can probably say that Kommunitas is the first decentralized and tierless launchpad because all the market leaders and all the launchpad that exists in the crypto space has their tier system. It means that when a user, when they want to invest in the IDO or participate in the IDO, they need to hold a certain amount of their the native token of that launchpad, and then then only they can purchase. But for us, as we don't have any tier, it means that all the com token, our native token called com token, so all the com token that you have and you stake in our staking platform will be taken into consideration. It means that the more com token you have and stake, the more allocation you will get. So what does it mean for the investor? It means that all type of investor, either a small cap investor or big cap investor, they can try out some kind of IDO, because actually we built Kommunitas based on our experience previously, that when we want to get into, some launchpad like BSC Pad or CDFI, we do not have enough capital to participate, to even purchase the token, and then to participate in the IDO. So think like, why don't we build one without any tier system, so every user can just come and stake how many com token they have, but then they will still get some allocation out of it. At least they can try how does it feel to participate in IDO, how does it feel to get some profits to buy the token before the token even get listed. So this is our idea. And what does it mean for the project is, that particular project that we supported or listed in Kommunitas Launchpad will have the chance to get more exposure in our community. In average, we have approximately like 1,000 members that will purchase the IDO for every IDO that we have done so far. The number is still small. I mean, we are still growing because our platform was ready only since November. If we compare to other market leaders like CDFI, BSC Pad, they can have like 3,000 to 4,000. So we are like only 25 to 30% of their users or participants.
So what you're saying is that for investors, actually, it's more of an inclusive community. That's why I think you have named yourselves as Kommunitas.
Yeah,
it's a community. It's the
community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really cool name, actually. And from what you're saying, it seems like whether it's a big investor or a small investor, whether they have let's say $100,000 or $100, they can still purchase the com tokens, your native tokens, and then they can be involved in the launchpad. That's really cool. Yeah. However, if there is a launchpad with tier system, then of course what you're saying is true. If, for example, you have not enough capital, then you're not going to be involved in that launchpad, in that IDO that you really want to participate, and that will probably push you outside of the, let's say, outside of the community that you want to be involved in. So far, what achievements have you guys had since the launch? So you said you have launched in November last year, right? So you already have been in the market for like 6 months, 7 months. So
6 months. 5
6 months.
5 point something months, I can say. Yeah, almost 6 months.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
So,
So what achievements have you
uh,
guys had over the past 6 months?
okay, within this 6 months period of time, we have launched approximately 40, almost 50 projects, 47 to be exact, and we have helped them to raise 3.6 or 3.7 million in US dollar, with a total unique participant of 4,800 something. We are very, I can say, open, about data. So if you go to launchpad.kommunitas.net, you can track that number, how many projects that we have helped to launch, and then how much US dollar that we have raised for them, and how many unique participants. And we are looking at growing the number of the project to be like 100 by the end of this year. And our target for the fundraise is like 20 million by the end of this year, with at least 10,000 to 12,000 unique participants in our launchpad. So to achieve that, we have, like, our strategy is to promote as much as possible about our project to all the community that talks about Telegram. We have a special team for business development. The team consists of 5 people. One will take care of the venture capital side. One will take care of the like they will go to search for Twitter KOL. One will go and search for YouTube KOL. So we are always actively promoting our project to either community, KOL, and user. So we are pretty sure that we can achieve that number by the end of this year. And another thing is that I can say that Kommunitas is a bootstrap project, which means that we do not have any VCs backing us initially. So we raised only like a little over 200,000 back in June and July by conducting IEO on small exchanges. And yeah, we can survive until now, and we have grown our project to at least 10 to 15x in the terms of market cap since the listing of our token.
That's really cool, especially with only existing for 6 months and offering the launchpad for 47 projects. That's really impressive. And what you're saying is that by the end of the year, you want to have more than 100 projects. Yet there is a question about the safety, especially the safety of the community, of the
Okay.
investors, with so many IDOs that you want to hold. How do you want to keep the community safe from the rug pulls? The thing is, in the
Oh,
market right now, it's crazy out there. If you don't do enough research, if you don't understand the projects that are being offered to the community all the time, then it's highly likely that you will encounter a certain rug pull, and then they will just take your money, and then they will just poof, they're gone. So how do you want to keep your community safe from those potential rug pulls?
okay. Okay. So yeah, we have actually our fundraising agreement signed before we help any project to do the fundraising. In that particular fundraising agreement, it is very clearly stated that the first point that we how we make sure our safety, the safety of our community, is that first thing is for the fund that we raise, we will only release to the project 48 hours after their token is listed. you know so if, let's say, after fundraising and the project goes to south, or I can say rug pull, or didn't even listed their token, so the fund is still safe with us because we only release the fund 48 hours after their token is listed. This is the first one. Then the second one, for our safety measurement, is that we have our one clause stated in the fundraising agreement, which says that if we found like abnormality in the liquidity that they provided, we also have the rights to refund our user. And if another Launchpad cancel or refunds that particular project, we also have the rights to do so. And out of those 47 projects that we have held so far, I believe that we have refunded like 3 to 4 projects because of some of the thing, like the distribution of the token was not fairly in time. Some launchpad get the tokens before others launchpad, and then there's some kind of FAD in the community. So that is our safety measurement from the potential rug pulls.
Very good. Very excellent. Honestly, the ways you guys are handling and trying to keep your community safe. And out of 47 projects, you're saying only 3 or 4 projects that were refunded to the community. And when they are being refunded the community, do they get refunds in your native token com or in any other token?
No, they get refunded in USDC token, because in our platform the payment also in USDC. So when we collect USDC, and the refund process will also be in USDC.
So if you have a com token, however, you get the USDC, the stable coins from your community for the IDOs. So why do you guys need your native token, and how is it being utilized?
So that the com token or our native token is used for calculating the allocation for each project. This is why we need the native token. And another thing is we have our own staking platform, and it is a fixed staking. So user need to stake their com token in that staking platform, and they will get allocation. Apart from the allocation, they will also get a fixed APY, and our APY starts from 18% to 36%, and it is a fixed one, which means it's not like any other DeFi protocol. When more user came, then the APY drops, like something like that. No, in our staking, it's a fixed staking, because the staking is a lock staking, which means that if you are one of our user and you would like to stake com token, so you need to choose one out of 3 time. It is whether 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. If you choose 30 days, then the APY will be a fixed 18% APY. 60 days will have a 27% APY, and 90 days will have a 36% APY. But if let's say you choose 90 days, and before 90 days you would like to unstake the com token, so you are doing a prematurity withdrawal. If you do a prematurity withdrawal, first, you will not get any rewards. And the second one is, out of your initial capital that you stake, it will be deducted a 20% penalty. So let's say if you have 100,000 com token stake, and when you do the prematurity withdrawal, you will only get 80,000 com token, and the rest 20,000 com token will be burned directly to the dead address. This is how we ensure our price of the token is quite stable even in the bear market condition.
Oh, that's nice. So you want to make sure that whoever is staking for a certain period of time, whether it's 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, you want to make sure that they stick to that date. And if they want to unstake in advance, then not only do they lose the rewards that they would have, but they will also get some type of a penalty. And that amount, that penalty will 20%, you said, right? So that will directly be burned. Essentially, that's a very, very good idea. Not only do you want to keep the staking service fair and good for everyone, but at the same time, you want to make sure that people stick to your rules. So you exercise certain rules that will help not only not only the community, but your native tokens price in the market. Especially, we are in a bear market, and it's very essential for investors to invest in those coins and those tokens that they know that prices will not decline at a certain rate for a long time, and that all their investment will go to essentially zero. So I was actually reading your Twitter announcements the other day, and I saw that you guys want to reduce the total maximum supply of COM tokens from 40 billion to 2 billion. So
Yep.
what's the idea behind this?
Yeah, like I mentioned initially, I can say that we are quite novice. I mean, we don't have any experience in tokenomics, like we don't have any experience in how to calculate the valuation for our project, etc. We just want to build a solution. We just want to build a solution to the problem for all people who wants to participate in the IDO, but then they do not have any, I can say, enough capital to participate. So yeah, you're right that initially our total supply of COM token was 40 billion. And when we are conducting the pre-sale or IEO on small exchanges, we only sell out like 1% out of those total supply. Okay. So the 95% out of 40 billion was locked in a smart contract in a third party called DXLock. DXLock is like a platform from DXSale. It's a third party. So we only sell out like 1%, and by the time goes by, a lot of people from our community says that, yeah, I mean the total supply is too high. They're afraid that we as the project owner will dump the token. So because we are a very community driven project, so we listen to our community, and after a long discussion we decided that we we want to reduce the total supply of COM token from 40 billion to 2 billion, which means that the 95% of total supply, which was previously locked in DX lock for 5 years, it will be burned. So starting from, I can say, January, all the unvested token that we take from DX lock every month, we will directly burn it, you know. And this burning process will take as long as 5 years, until, if I'm not mistaken, September 2025. Then the total supply will only be 2 billion. So if you go to Polygon Scan, the block explorer of our token, and see the total supply of COM token, it is still written like 31 billion something. But if you go to the holder section, you can see that yes, 90 something percent of those 31 billion is still locked with DX lock. We have another way of burning or reducing the total supply. Not only the X lock burning, we also have one very unique, and I can say that this is the words first. We call it our social engagement burning. It means that every month we have a report in our medium. We will open our Twitter analytics, and we will see how many mention of COM token, Kommunitas Twitter, and how many likes and how many new subscriber, and we will burn our COM token based on that analytics. We present that to our community in our medium monthly report. So as a community, as a COM token holders, every time you interact with our Twitter, like you hit the like button, or you retweet, or you do comments, it means something. It means that you are helping the project to reduce the total supply. It means that, yeah, when the total supply is lower, then if the demand is high, then the price will goes up.
That's
This is
a
our idea.
very, very unique way of burning your tokens and trying to increase the price of your tokens. Social engagement burning. That's a really, really cool idea. Not only do you
Yeah,
want
thank
to
you.
not only do you want your community to be involved in your launch pads and IDOs and all that, but you also want them to be socially engaged, because in the end, it's the community that makes the project. It's that
Yes,
investors that make the project. And without those investors' social engagement, there's no way that you're going to grow. And this
correct.
way of burning your tokens and giving them the motivation of engaging, so that in the long term, there will be, if there is a higher demand, the price of the token will be higher as well. This is very unique. Yeah, awesome job. Very, very impressive,
Thank you.
actually. So let's talk a little bit about OKC Network. And I was reading your roadmap, and you said that there will be Launchpad for OKC token, which is essentially OKT. So, can
Okay.
you talk a little bit more about it?
Yeah. So we have a plan in our roadmap that we will actually we are already a multi-chain oriented project. It means that as long as the project's native token is on any EVM compatible, just like in OKC, then we can help the project to do the fundraising, and then we can help the project to create a vesting portal so that our user, after they purchase the token, can come and claim the token in our vesting platform. But what it means in our roadmap that we would like to have the OKC token is that we also want to have the staking. Our native COM token will be bridged to OKC so that we can tap into OKC exposure. And if, let's say, there's one people or user they who doesn't like, let's say, the Polygon chain, and they like the OKC chain, so they can also do the staking, the COM token staking in the OKC chain.
That's really cool. So, essentially, what you're doing is you're trying to reach out to more users of other chains as well. So, if there
Yes,
is a user of OKC network and they don't want to, or they just don't know how to use the Polygon or any other chains, then you're essentially grabbing their involvement, that they will also be engaged in Kommunitas. Very nice,
correct.
very cool. So
Thank you,
so
James.
many things are happening for Kommunitas. So many things have happened, and you guys are doing really really cool job. So what's the future like for you guys? How do you see yourself doing in, let's say, 6 months or 1 year? I don't want to say 5 years or 3 years, because this market is really unpredictable, and
Yeah,
we don't know what's going
unpredictable,
to
true.
happen. But yeah, let's say by the year of 2023,
Okay.
what will Communitas be like?
Okay, so in terms of target, like I mentioned, by the end of this year, we would like to see that we have helped like approximately 100 projects to raise 20 million in total, with 10,000 or 12 to 12,000 unique participants, which is very achievable for us because in every sales we always track the number of unique participants. Now, okay, in every sales that we have, for your note, we can have like 6 to 10 projects every month, and based on that, based on every statistic that we have in every sale, there are approximately 200 to 250 new addresses that participate in the sales that we have. So that number of 10 to 12,000 by the end of this year is very achievable. This is the first thing. Actually, another part of our roadmap is that we want to have our own decentralized exchange or DEX, which means that later on, after a project raise the fund in our platform, several percent of the fund will be used to provide the liquidity in our own DEX. This is the first. And the biggest challenges actually, James, that we are trying to solve now is, even though we have all those safety measurement, we release the fund to the project only 48 hours after the IDO. The project also promises that the price of the token will not goes down below IDO within 48 hours, or else we will refund and all these things. There's actually one biggest problem that we see so far in the Launchpad and fundraising platform. So the problem is, after we release the fund to the project, let's say the project trying to raise like 1 million in US dollar in total, there is no guarantee that the project will use the fund based on their roadmap. So we are still thinking, how is it possible? Actually, this is a very big challenge for us. We are trying to make a platform. Okay, we can help the project to raise fund. Let's say 1 million, 3 million. We don't have any problem with that. But what we are trying to make is that the fund will only be released to the project based on their roadmap. So if they hit several milestones, yes, we will release the fund. But if they do not hit several milestones or the roadmap, then no, we will not release the fund, and our community can request for refunds. This is what we are thinking now.
That's really, really cool. That's another way of keeping your community safe and
Yeah,
keeping the projects their promises, so that
correct.
not only do they give all those crazy ideas or all those crazy promises, they're
Yeah,
like, oh, we're
yeah,
gonna do
yeah.
this, we're gonna do that.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, that's really
yes.
cool. You're trying to make it as fair as possible. Plus, you want to make sure that the community also can be involved in those projects with the
Correct,
roadmaps that are achievable. Nice, very
correct.
good. And
Yeah.
one last thing that I want to ask is, what do you see the future like for the crypto space?
It's very promising. I can
Yeah,
say it's very promising. Yeah.
it really
We
is, I agree.
are, yeah, we are in a very early stage of crypto adoption, even here in Indonesia. I mean, some of my friends in my circle talks about crypto, but all they're talking is just about the profits that they make or the loss that they suffer, but they are not, the usage of blockchain technology is still not there yet. I believe that uh, blockchain and crypto is just like email and internet back in the early of 2000. So I think we are still early, and in the next 3 to 5 years maybe we can see more adoption in terms of crypto in daily usage.
Yeah, I hope so too. In the next 3 or 5 years, I hope there will be mass adoption, and we don't only talk about profits and losses that we suffer, but we also talk about the ways that we use not only the blockchain, but the tokens as well. And as a community, how we benefit from the blockchain and from the apps or launchpads or any other projects that are in blockchain. And I hope that Kommunitas will be one of the big players of the mass adoption as well. Robbie, thank you so much for your time, and thanks so much for being with us and talking about Kommunitas and your ideas. I really appreciate that. And
Yeah, thank you, James, for having me. It's really my pleasure.
to learn more about Kommunitas, please check out the show notes of this episode. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Peace.